Welcome to Love Lounge. I have with me the awesome Tito in the studio. How are you doing?
I'm good, Rex. How are you?
I'm not bad. And Simi Babayemi, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Awesome. Today we are talking about enhancements. I'm looking at both of you and I'm seeing that you've obviously got your cheeks done. You have some Botox done as well. So give me all the secrets. How can I look more youthful and presentable? And how do I make men want me? Because I've been shooting pheromones and it's not working. Why are you laughing now? I'm in pain. I'm a single and desperate lady. Help me.
And you think plastic surgery or cosmetic surgery is the way to go?
Cosmetic surgery covers a whole gamut of stuff, right? It's not just about breasts, hip, lip implants and things, right? So it could be literally anything. It could be that maybe your nose bridge or something. And sometimes people have that fixed because they're not breathing properly with it. But to you on the outside, you're thinking, oh, she had a nose job and her nose is perky or whatever. So yeah, so what are the things that...
lines, and
but I think that's different though, the example you've just given, because that is obviously for medical reasons, isn't it? Yeah, so I think... Well,
sometimes it has a medical advantage. For example, I heard Jennifer Aniston in the early days before... No, I think the early days of Friends, she had trouble breathing, so she did the nose job, but while it fixed her nose, she also had it, a bit more demure, had it done to be a little bit fixed. So she got, the best of both. And it could be that it was an excuse or something, who knows. But yeah, there's a lot of that sometimes, that there's an advantage to doing an operation or a procedure, which is cosmetic.
Right.
Yeah.
So are you of the opinion then that cosmetic procedures should only be done if it's medically helping you in some way? Or can you just do it because, well, today I would fancy having bigger lips, just because?
I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah?
Because I think you need to, because I think when you start to get things done, so when it's too much, do you understand? Where do you draw the line? Right. And sometimes you find people actually putting themselves at risk because they want to look a certain way, or they want to look like someone on TV, or they want to look like their friends. So I think there's so many things that you could do. You just ask the question, how do I stay beautiful and young? Drink plenty of water, exercise.
Sorry, I don't understand this water conversation. I'm talking about surgery. We'll be right back after this. Welcome to Love Lounge, where I have the juice, and all the things that you need to do to get yourself looking and feeling right. Now, there's this woman who, I think she is Brazilian, who's now given herself an Igbo name, who's gone from white to being black. You haven't seen that yet?
No.
She's got huge boobs. She now thinks she looks black. She doesn't. She doesn't look black. Sorry, I don't. It's a hot mess. It really is. The hair, the everything, and it's just extreme. We've also seen people who've gone through the extreme as well of taking things off their bodies because they just don't really see themselves in the mirror as what they think they should be on the inside for whatever reason. Right. So psychologically, like, how important it is for us to feel like who we think we are?
I don't know. I mean, it's all in the mind. Like for cosmetic surgery, a lot of people do it because they want to look a certain way. But when it borders on obsession, when you're obsessed about enhancing this or reducing...
When is this an obsession?
Because
maybe they're not aware.
When you keep on putting yourself down, that, oh, my nose is so huge, or my boobs are so small, and it's day in and day out, I want to do that, and you keep on, your friends and your family can actually tell that this thing is actually making you depressed or is affecting your mental health.
Right.
Then the person should perhaps not be looking at doing a procedure or seeing a doctor. Maybe they should see a therapist. Maybe it's psychological at the end of the day, because there is that possibility that you get the procedure and you're still unhappy.
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of times I think that it's a mental thing.
Yeah.
We've heard several cases of people that they do the procedure, then they're depressed, they don't like it, they have it undone.
But I think you need to sit down and ask yourself, why am I putting myself through this? Is it an outside influence? Is it maybe a partner or a friend? I know sometimes, for example, if we talk about children, sometimes they're bullied in school. And I've known of kids that they've told me, obviously as friends, that the parents had to get a loan to maybe get them the right nose or to get them the right ears. No, and I'm serious, that they've had to do that. Maybe in another part of the world, maybe not in Nigeria, but these are things that have happened. But I think, yes, maybe some parents might want to do that first and say, or maybe adults, and say, do I need to get myself checked out? Is everything all right? How is this affecting me mentally before they actually put themselves through that? Because they might find that they're saving themselves money, the trouble as well. I don't know if you watch this program called Botched or whatever it's called.
Yes.
Do you notice that they always go back? They tell you, I've had it 10 times, I've had it 20 times, and then the surgeons would say, don't ever do it again, because you would kill yourself. Your nose is literally going to fall down.
But it's like you said, you know, sometimes you become addicted to it, right?
Yeah.
But also it's also about body dysmorphia. If you still look in the mirror and you're not seeing who you think you should be, you're never going to be content with that. No.
Yeah, but it's your self-worth, or it's how you view yourself, your self-image at the end of the day, which I think comes back to, you know, the whole mental health aspect of it and how you view yourself. We haven't gotten there yet, but my opinion with cosmetic surgery, I don't know. It feels very artificial. I think that I prefer things natural. And I think there are other means to, you know, sorting.
But there are ways to make it look natural.
Yeah,
as well.
There's looking natural and then there's feeling natural.
It starts off being natural. That's what happens, and then after a while, it gets out of hand. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, but man, it's the mental thing, and it's very dicey. I think.
Because for instance, let's take the most obvious one that people would go for would be a boob job, right?
Right.
If you go in and you're like a 32A, and you come out with a 32B or 32C cup, I think C cup's a bit big but manageable.
Which is not, yeah.
You won't see her on the road and be like, that girl had breast dub. You know, it looks natural. It's when it's the extreme of you walking in like, I want, you know, 32 double J. Unless maybe you reckon this is like a first world problem issue. So those of us in Nigeria, that recession is still wiring us. We might not necessarily be able to do that just yet. Now, are there any other things that you think people do to enhance the way they look and feel that aren't necessarily obvious, but can also give you that good perk that you need?
The things
I have to think of things I've heard of.
The butt one is quite popular these days. Yeah, from what I hear.
Ooh, let's talk about the butt one. Have you had any work done? Would you want to have any work done? I don't have money to pay for it, but I'd be very interested to know. Please tweet us right now. We'll be right back on Love Lounge. Welcome back to Love Lounge. Now, before the break, I did say we're going to talk about people who might want to do butt enhancements. That's very popular in Nigeria at the moment, and in some cases, people suck from the belly and pump it into the bum. It's like Fight Club, but in reverse, because you're not creating soap, you're creating junk in the trunk. That sounded nicer in my head. I probably shouldn't have put it like that. Is this a matter of this is what society demands of Nigerian women to look like, and so I'm trying to fit into that? Or is it that Nigerian women actually genuinely within themselves want the bigger butts? And then we've tried waist trainers. We've single-handedly increased the price of waist trainers around the world, just like everything else, you know, champagne and hair and what we embrace. Yeah, so what is it about butts that men like so much, and why do we feel we must give it to them?
You're deferring to the only man in the room, right? Well, yes, there is that, but I think...
Is it the jiggle in the...
It's a lot of things. Well, you know, African women are very blessed, you know, back there and everything. So it's easy for a woman to be intimidated if she doesn't have a nice, juicy derriere.
You see? He said nice, juicy.
Derriere.
So if you're sitting there right now and you're like, look in the mirror, you've already given somebody a complex.
Well, okay. I've given her a complex.
Juicy. Is it Serena Williams? Is that juicy or is that meaty?
Serena Williams is in a league of
Nicki
her
Minaj,
own.
Is that juicy?
Another person in a league of her own.
Okay.
I don't know. No one comes to mind right now. If one does, I'll let you know. But average, not over the top.
Okay.
Just you know, something you can hold on to. But yeah.
Like melons.
Kind of.
Like guava, like peach.
Yes.
So
I
you
mean,
need
the
it
average.
Said yes.
No, peaches are quite small, man. No, but like the average African or Nigerian woman's derriere is, you know, would suffice. For women who, so here's my point. For women who don't feel like they don't have a nice butt, here you can have a diet or amend your diet to, you know, to put things back there. I hear in Ghana it's the banku that gives the women the butt. I don't know that's what I hear, but I know your diet can help that. Squats, you know, I hear the squats, you know, work for that. So there are other options before going to.
As somebody who's done the 30-day squat challenge, okay, it doesn't work.
It doesn't?
And I say that, okay, it didn't work the way I wanted it to.
Okay.
Because if you're doing the challenge, or at least the one I was doing, you then gain muscle around your thighs. And if you don't want big thighs, you're going to give up halfway through it. Because they say you can't have a big butt without thighs to support it. And most women say, I don't want the big, what they call in my family, Edo thighs. Apparently, Edo men have big thighs. It's legendary. The better to hold you with.
I don't know. I've never heard that before. Well, I mean, you'd have thigh definition. I don't know about it being big, but obviously your thighs would be defined, and there's nothing wrong with having defined
but
thighs.
they say that's how you can tell the difference between someone who's had surgery to get big butts and someone who doesn't. That the proportion between the thighs and the ass is always quite different.
If you've had a surgery.
If you've had a surgery, it would just be the butts, but the thigh would just look like it's just there.
There's there.
You know?
But yeah, I mean, there are options. There are options to, or there are alternatives to going under the knife, I think. And that butt one is just really, I don't know, it's just, it seems so out there.
We can't all look a certain way. What if you don't have a big butt or a medium butt, but you have other things going for you? You have a beautiful hair, you know, you've got lovely eyes, you've got, you know, you have to find your own definition of what is beautiful as a woman, I think. If not, you know, you just keep running around like a headless chicken, trying to do this, trying to do that, because this is what's going now, that's what's going now.
And trends come and go all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, speaking of things that come and go, I have a sister, I hope she doesn't mind me saying this out loud, who once told me that she had never experienced an orgasm. And you just blew my mind earlier when we were on the break, when you said there's actually something we can do to enhance that for women. Please tell me about this, because I really want to know.
Absolutely. So it's called the O shot. And what it does is you have to get, obviously, someone who's medically trained to give you an injection in your clitoris, and that would enhance, obviously, orgasms. It would help you to achieve an orgasm. And what it also does is it turns back the hands of the clock. So, for example, if you were in your 50s, it would give you a vagina of somebody, say, for example, in their 20s.
What is this miracle thing?
I know, it's happening. It's happening. Believe me, it's happening. And there's so many testimonies, you know, people that have done it and they've written on. If you go online, you can read about it. People have said, wow, you know, it's changed my whole life, my whole sexual experience with my partner and this and that. And, you know, it works. So, well, I haven't done it, but, you know, obviously, according to people that have done it, you know, it works. I haven't done it.
There's no judgment.
So it's not the same thing as having vaginal rejuvenation, where you're actually shaping and making the labia look tight and pretty and whatever it is.
And
this is just,
you can, I think it only takes about half an hour.
And how long does it last? Is it for life?
I think for life, or you might have to top it up maybe every so often. I don't know.
Are they injecting juice in there, or
so
is it
basically
vitamin?
they're taking stem cells from other parts of the body, and they're injecting it into your clitoris. That's what it is.
Is there an equivalent for men?
There might be, actually. I think there is. I think I read up on that. I think there is, yeah. But it's quite new, though. I think it's only been around for about 2 years. And there might just be one, you know, company or, I don't know, medical, whatever, in Nigeria.
Can we do it in Nigeria?
Absolutely, yes, you can. If you need to get it done in Nigeria, you can talk to me. I know where you can get it done.
Seriously?
Interesting.
Yes, in Victoria Island, you can.
Is it affordable?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I know in US dollars, it's probably about $3,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get a boob job for you can get a nose job for $2,000 in some places. So that's
what, in Nigeria?
Okay, no.
Oh,
no,
wow. Okay.
That, yeah.
But that procedure isn't for, like, wouldn't it be for women who have a tough time achieving orgasm? So, like, a woman who doesn't have that problem.
80% of women do not achieve an orgasm. If
but
you think about it from that.
Is it then a fault of theirs or a fault of their partners? Because I hear that a lot of men aren't doing it right. So if they find a man who's doing it right,
it's
then
nobody's
problem
fault.
solved.
It's because of the way God has created the woman's body, because your clitoris is on the outside of your vagina.
Right.
So the men obviously neglecting that part of the, because they obviously don't know. Yeah, you know, so I think that's what it is.
My mind is blown.
Which is very rare.
Please tweet us right now if your mind is blown. I have some messages I want to share with you. Don't go anywhere. This is Love Lounge. We'll be right back. Yeah, I know someone who had the breast reduction done as well, and unfortunately, they end up messing up her nipples.
Oh, wow.
So you know how the procedure goes?
I'm trying not to laugh, I'm sorry.
Laugh?
Carry on. Like, no.
Is that from frying pan to fire? How they say?
Yeah, essentially. So her boobs, then, it was really big, and so they seared around the nipple and the areola and all that. And when they put it back, basically, it was now just like cross-eyed twins kind of thing. So she has to go back in for another procedure to correct that, so that the nipples will be where they should be. And she said, you know what? She wishes she never did it, because about a year later, her boobs grew again, and it was just as big as last time. So she's just one of those people that God just wants her to have big boobs, and she was like, she wishes she never did, because she had 3 procedures because she had severe back pain, and now her boobs are still not quite her nipples rather aren't quite facing the right way.
You know, I've heard that, you know, men sometimes get, because men have breast tissue, we have it as well, so sometimes they can get it taken out to reduce the possibility of cancer in the tissue. So it's not necessarily life-threatening, it's not cosmetic, but somewhere like mid-ground. So laser eye surgery, I think, falls in there. I don't know. It's not that big. It's not
Is it something you would ever do? Consider doing?
Maybe. If I got tired of, I kept on losing my glasses or breaking them. But
it's cheaper as well. Imagine not having to pay for lenses and frames every year.
There you go.
Thank you very much for joining us on this episode of Love Lounge. We hope to see you again soon. I would definitely, my friend has done also, she's done colonic, it's not surgery, but she's had colonic done. It terrifies me. The idea of someone taking a tube and shoving it up my ass, it terrifies me. Especially because around the time when they first started doing it, people were getting infections, I was hearing stuff about it. And I always look for the worst stories. You do that as well?
Yeah, I do.
And I'm just like, no, like they've had instances where like, microbacteria things gone up people's ass and they're just like, no.
Even natural things like label.
EbonyLife.